We're in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where the USS Albacore is on display, a research submarine used to test designs of submarines. It was built in the 50s. It was the first submarine having what we'd think of as a cigar shape. It was also the first submarine to be displayed out of the water in dry dock. You get a better idea of its size this way. It set the speed record for its day, almost 40 miles an hour. Those twin props there undoubtedly helped. This was the crew's quarters. Some of these bunks shared their room with valves and that sort of thing. They hot bunked, which means that there were 3 men assigned to each bed, 2 on duty, 1 sleeping. A pantry or kitchen. The ship's office. That's what you see, it's what you got. The radio room. The necessity, air expulsion operated. And the driver's seat, and of course the periscope. And looking down into the lower deck. And the sonar room, both active and passive sonars. Engine controls and the engine room. And I am at the New Hampshire Telephone Museum.
Now, the thing about this phone here is how it started was just with this one piece, which was the transceiver. Walls. What takes place here is it's approximately 17 years later, so Bell's patent has now expired. Western Electric, American Electric, they start making phones. At the time, we move down here to approximately 1930, and the phone begins to turn into the candlestick. This is a nice little piece. So let's say you were at the market, you had to go, and this could be over the counter, so if you needed to talk back at home. And here we've got the candlestick. Here we've got the phone piece that now starts to go onto its side. His name was Almond Stroger, and Almond Stroger had a problem, and he wanted to solve that problem, which is what, of course, inventors and what's impressive about these is how fast we're now beginning to move. So here we are from 1950 to 2000. Their little eyes open up. Mickey, the first, and switchboard operator here. She's still around, and this is the house that she was in. Now, in the phone, and you would dial 74746. You can call this person right here. 7, 4, 6. Different, which is nice. It's got, different numbers, so you could see, Saudi Arabia and Iran. Before you leave, please.
We're now in Vermont. Of course, it doesn't take much to get from New Hampshire to Vermont. We're at the President Calvin Coolidge State Historic Site in Plymouth, Vermont. This is the village of Plymouth where Calvin was born, and it, they say, is basically unchanged since when he was born here. Above the general store that Calvin's father owned and ran, and Calvin had his summer White House. This was in effect the Oval Office of his day during the summer. All of these furnishings are original. This is the building that Cal was born in. He lived here until he was 4, and his dad bought the house across the street. This is Calvin's parents' bedroom, where he was born on this bed. When Calvin was 4, his father was well-to-do enough to buy this house across the street that had more room. $300 and some odd it cost him. The house had a indoor-outdoor privy and the living area, and it would have been this dim too. Calvin was sworn in as president here. It's the Bible he used. His father swore him in. His predecessor died in office, so it was an emergency situation. In the parlor where guests were entertained. But cold, the Vermonters would build their buildings attached. You didn't really have an outbuilding. There was a barn back there, the outhouse is back there. Calvin made that miniature dresser of drawers when he was in the academy. And perhaps 2,000 or 3,000 yards away from the family homestead is the Notch Cemetery. Still active today. And here we have the Calvin Coolidge family plot, and his headstone about in the middle of the picture here. No additional ornamentation except the eagle of the United States on top. Driving by, and this place caught my eye, so I stopped in, and it used to be a marble quarry where a lot of the monuments, the marble for the monuments in New York, Washington, etc. came from, and now it's a school entitled Big Chiefs, plural. These have price tags on them. I assume they're for sale. Created from scratch in 5 days. And this was made from a single piece of marble. This is how they would bring the blocks out, also on a railroad car out of the quarry. I hate to have been under that one when it fell. We're in Proctor, Vermont. Used to be the home of the Vermont Marble Company, the largest marble company in the world. Now the Vermont Marble Exhibit and Museum. Boy and girl on a swing. The Hall of Presidents. The area is noted for its pure white marble. Hi, how you doing? What you making today?
I'm making making up free-form kind of thing. Just making it up as I go.
Okay.
Just
see what's there when you take off the extra stuff, huh?
That's how you build it out. Is you go down in, yeah, with it. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Here they have different kinds of marble from all over the world. Wow, it would be fun to grow up as a princess in that. There's some restoration work going on. You walked out the front door, you saw their eagle, and I'm sure the master bedroom had its own balcony. Had your own skylight up there. The front porch. Have a one-lane bridge over a river with a signal controlling traffic in each direction. We're on Scenic Highway Vermont 160. This is the state capitol building of Vermont, marble of course, and that is gold on top. We're in Montclair, Vermont. I'm sure I mispronounced that. We're in Graniteville, Vermont, where there's a granite quarry and factory where they make monuments, press rolls, all sorts of things. The block of granite on top is about 22 tons. You can see the people in the far background give you an idea of the size of this place. It'll take them 75 years to get down to water level.
It is very, it's not allowed. Derek will know where in the quarry we got it. Now the significance of that is
Those
mainly,
round ones are for
if
grinding
we have a
or
company
crushing.
come by and say, hey, 10 years ago we got a block from you guys.
This is where they process the granite. The men have the whole week off July 4th. They're in the retail headstone business also. Nearby Barry, Vermont is Hope Cemetery, where there's a showcase of the talents of the men who worked in the quarries and did the work in the factories. They made some very unique stones here. Of special note is the features of the face. To the left of the bush, the shrub, is a tree stump carved in granite, indicative of a life cut short by, in this case, silicosis, a scourge of the men who worked in the industry, and then until they discovered what the problem was and purified the air. A family crypt, room for 8. The capstone up there above the columns, 23 tons. Cut from a single piece of granite by the brother of the deceased. Note the fine detail on the clothing, the face. Dying man, again silicosis, being held by his wife. A man and woman in their bed holding hands. You'll recognize the soccer ball, of course, and off to the right, the balanced cube. Man and his wife with the names of the children on the chain. Said to be depicted of his favorite chair. Looks pretty uncomfortable to me. A Canadian maple leaf. His race car. And my favorite, reaching for the sky. We are near Franconia, New Hampshire, at an attraction called the Basin. We'll be walking along the Pemgewasset River, which is a Indian name, local Indian name for fast flowing. This is the basin. The river has eroded this out of solid granite. It's 15 feet deep, using rocks and sand brought down from the mountains.